Hello, everybody. There's a whole lot of us here, and it's going to be fun. And we are in, what book of the Bible are we in? We're in Luke. Can you remember what chapter we're in? 13. We're in chapter, and we're not even in it yet. We're about to start it. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, warm up your drawing fingers, and we will get ready to go. All right, you guys really are shaking your fingers. That's pretty good. So let's get this thing going. Let me see if I need to click any buttons here. That all looks pretty good. Hit the share button, and here we go. All right, we're going to start reading in Luke chapter 13 and verse 1. Let me make sure it's all focused in. There we go. Now, there were some present at that very season which told him of the Galileans whose blood Pilate had mingled with their sacrifices. All right, that sounds gross and weird. But first we'll do this. What is a Galilean?
It's the city from Galilee.
From Galilee, right? And so we'll do one of those very quick little maps. How about I do a map on the back? No, I'll do a map on my piece of paper. I haven't drawn a map on the piece of paper. We haven't drawn a map together in a while. And a lot of you might remember, I like to draw square maps. And we're just going to do a really fast map. And it's square, which is inaccurate. So I think that that's the way that island looks. Down here is the Dead Sea. Here is the Jordan River. Here's the Sea of Galilee and the Jordan River that goes up. And down here is the Nile River. Now, of course, it's not all this square and perfect, right, guys? But
Yeah.
it's good enough for now. And I think the Red Sea is kind of like that. Looks like a snake. All right. So right here, next to the Dead Sea, that's where Jerusalem is. I'll put a J. Where is Galilee? Do you guys know where Galilee is?
Next to the Sea of Galilee.
Next to the Sea of Galilee. So here is the Sea of Galilee. And then this region right around it is, I think technically this is too, but usually when they're talking about Galilee, they're talking about this area. And then I'll put some water in the Dead Sea. And Sea of Galilee, and then there. All right, so this is, okay, and then this is the Mediterranean Sea. So there's the map. That's the idea of the map. And I drew it, I mean, it's not the right sizes and things. But here is Galilee. This is Galilee, the place. So a Galilean person is from around the Sea of Galilee. And so apparently at some point, Pilate mixed their blood with their sacrifices. What does that sound like?
Yeah.
Is Pilate usually a good guy or a bad guy?
That guy.
Bad guy, he's a bad guy. And if Pilate's mixing your blood, how do you get your blood?
Cut
You, or maybe you're dead. So we don't really know what's going on here, but this is a sad, scary scene. And so maybe somebody died, or Pilate was punishing them by cutting them. I don't know exactly what it is. I better put the river blue as well. I don't know exactly what's going on, but they're telling him about some bad thing. Oh, those Galileans, they died. I'll put a drop of blood. Right? So that's a scary thing. Oh, those Galileans, I wonder why they died or they got hurt. And Jesus answered and said unto them, think you that these Galileans were sinners above all the Galileans because they have suffered these things? I tell you, no. But except you repent, you shall in all like manner perish. Uh-oh. Perish? That means that these people died, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I'll put them dead, and they've got the blood. Okay. So apparently they're talking about these Galileans, and they bled and they died, and I think Pilate did something to make them die. And it sounds like, here, listen to what Jesus says. Think you that these Galileans were sinners above all the Galileans because they suffered? I think that means People are talking about them saying, hey, they must have been really bad people. They must have been bad sinners, and that's why they got hurt and died. And Jesus says, you think that they're worse sinners? Should we start comparing who is a better and who is a worse sinner? That's not very wise to do. He says, no, but unless you repent, you shall in all like manner perish. What are we supposed to do?
Repent.
We're supposed to repent. What does it mean to repent?
To change your attitude. God.
To change and to love God? Yeah. He's saying,
Forgiveness.
yeah, to ask for forgiveness, to change your life. If you guys don't repent, you're all going to die too. Oh, that's a scary thought. Let's see what he's saying. Or those 18 upon whom the tower in Siloam fell and killed them, do you think they were worse offenders than all the men that dwell in Jerusalem? I tell you, no. Except you repent, you shall all likewise perish. He says this twice. He says it 2 times. Except you repent, or unless you repent. That's a more modern way of saying it. Unless you repent, you will all likewise perish. What is Jesus saying to us? Unless you repent, you're all gonna perish. What's your thoughts? How'd you explain that to your mom and dad if you're gonna
Like if you repent, you'll go to heaven, but if you don't, you'll go to hell and you'll perish there.
I think that that's the idea. I think that's the idea. Because do good people eventually get sick and die and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's talking about just old age and dying. I think what he's saying is, hold on, let me get this up. Here's a man, and he has been walking with, let's say he's been walking with a knife or a sword. And if he keeps walking that way, where is he going to go? He's going to walk to the land of fire and trouble. Does that make sense?
No.
If you keep walking with a sword, cutting and fighting and hurting people, you're going to go to punishment and you're going to go to pain. You're going to likewise perish. But if instead he lets go of his sword and walks to love, what's he going to have?
Heaven. No.
We need to repent. We need to stop doing the bad things and change to do the good things. And he says, listen up, y'all. If you don't repent, you will all likewise perish. Is that scary?
Yes.
It's supposed to be scary. He's trying to scare them. I don't think Jesus wants to just scare a bunch of kids. But he wasn't preaching a bunch of kids. He was preaching a bunch of adults, I think.
And I think it's also about the spirit in your body.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's connected to the spirit. If my spirit doesn't repent to God, what's going to happen to my spirit?
It's not too bad.
It won't go home to God, that's for sure. Okay. I think we're getting a good handle on that. Let's go back to the text and see what the next part is. And he spoke this parable. A certain man had a fig tree planted in his yard, and he came seeking the fruit thereon and found none. And he said to his vine dresser, behold, these 3 years I have come seeking fruits from this fig tree and find none. Cut it down. Why does it also cumber the ground? And he answering said unto him, Lord, let it alone this year also, till I shall dig about it and dung it, or put fertilizer on it. And if it bear fruit therefore, well. But if not, thou shalt cut it down. All righty. This is a parable about a what?
Fig tree.
Fig tree. All right, I'm going to draw this on the back board. So that means I got to erase all this. What do you think grows on fig trees?
Figs. Figs.
You guys are smart.
Figs. All
Okay.
fruits.
So the man has been looking at this fig tree for how many years? Can you remember?
3.
3 years. So I'm going to draw like this. Here's the tree, and here is branch number 1 for year 1. Here is branch number 2 for year 2. Here is branch number 3 for year 3. The trees don't grow this way, but you get the idea. All right? That's where they cut some, and there's the roots. All right. So when he came to the fig tree in year 1, he found, oh, it's got good leaves. What else did it have? Or what, did he find figs?
No.
No figs. We'll write nope. Nope. All right, what about in year 2? Did he find any figs?
No.
No.
Wow.
All right. So it's got leaves, but does it have figs?
No. Not yet.
And then there was year 3. Surely now it's going to be all full of figs. Did it have figs?
No.
No.
No. Not yet.
Okay. And so there's 2 people in this story. There's 2 people in this story. All right.
And then me.
So the first guy is
Thank you.
the owner of the field, the owner of the farm. How does he feel when he's been coming to this fig tree and it's been making figs? How does this man
Angry.
He's
Angry.
disappointed.
Mad. Disappointed.
I'm giving him a huge mouth. All right, so there he is. And he's pointing at, what does he want to do to the tree?
Cut it down.
So what does he have in his hand, do you think?
An axe, probably.
An axe.
Saw.
All right, so here's his axe. He wants to cut that thing down. I'll make it a cool, big old axe head. Right?
Looks like they pinned it.
I think it's way too big of an axe head. It looks like he has a battle axe, but that's kind of fun.
That's a good
All right, so he's angry and he wants to cut down that tree. It's got no figs. Cut that tree down. What does the farmer say?
Give it 1 more year.
Yes. But what else does he say? He's not just saying give it 1 more year. What else does he say? Let's look at the text.
I'm gonna try and help.
Oh, yeah. He's going to help it, right? He's going to dig around it. He's going to put some manure on it, some dung, manure, and fertilize it. So he's going to dig up the ground. I don't know. That's the ground all dug up. And he's going to put some manure on it. Ooh, that's gross. He's got some fertilizer. Maybe I'm going to draw a watering can because watering cans work too, right? I'll give him a purple watering. I don't know why he has a purple watering can.
Maybe because he has purple.
All right, so he is holding on. I got too many markers in my hands. Ugh. And he's gonna do all this stuff, right?
Yep.
Okay. And so what does he say? Cut it down. Cut it down. It went nope. It went nope. It went nope. Cut it down. So what does the farmer say?
Give it 1 more year. I'm gonna put some manure. I'm gonna dig around it and put manure in it.
Yeah. Let's give it another year. Okay. So now we're gonna draw the branch for the new year. Well, it's gonna have 2 options. So the branch has 2 options. Okay? This is the weirdest looking tree that I've ever drawn.
It's kind of fine.
There's one branch, and here's the other branch.
Straight it.
What are the 2 options that this tree can do? Year 1, year 2, year 3, here's year 4.
Figs
What
or
are
no
they looking for?
figs, or he could do no figs.
Right. So what color do you want my figs to be? Purple? Purple figs? It's gonna look like plums. I'll put a bunch of plums right here. All right.
I think figs look kind of like coconut.
Yeah, they came out looking black, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's
Nope.
either going to be figs or nope.
Figs.
What do you think the tree should do? Figs?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. To stay alive, it should give figs.
If it wants to stay alive, it should give figs, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now here is my big question for you guys, and now I'm gonna figure out if you guys are smart at all. I don't know. Was Jesus just a farmer and liked to tell stories about farming? What's he talking about?
No.
He's
No.
not at all. Nope.
Talking about repenting and going away from death.
Yeah, you're right. He's talking about repenting and things. So where repent. I'll put the word repent right up in here. Repent. That's the change, right? This
Yep.
is where he needs to make the change in his life and to not be a tree that's not doing his job. If the tree doesn't do his job, he's going to get the axe. And I want you to know, kids, that if you are a kid who doesn't do your job, well, no, I'm not going to come with an axe. Don't worry. Don't worry. But that is the major lesson that Jesus is teaching us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except you repent, you shall all likewise perish. If your mom says, clean your room, and you say, nope, well, you're in trouble. If she comes back, clean your room, and you say, nope. If she comes back, says, you clean your room, and you say, nope. How many of you would be in trouble before the third nope?
A lot.
I would be. If my wife said, you need to clean your room, and I said, nope, I'd be in trouble right then. But here's the point. Here's the point. Just sometimes we forget. Sometimes we make mistakes. If we go, nope, we go, nope, and we try to repent, but we go, no. We have got to make the change. And except you repent, you will all likewise perish. Jesus is pretty serious about this stuff, isn't he?
Uh-huh.
He's not just, hey, let me tell you a story about farming because I really like trees. No, it's more than that. All right, let's go back to the text. Okay. And he was teaching in one of the synagogues on the Sabbath day. And behold, a woman which had a spirit of infirmity 18 years, and she was bowed together and could in no wise lift herself up. Okay, so we have this woman. It says she's bowed together and couldn't lift herself up. What do you think that means about her?
Paralyzed.
He's
Paralyzed?
not very strong.
I think it probably means like she can't stand up straight. Some kind of paralyzing where she can't stand up. I'm going to give her wavy brown hair. And like, here's her back. And she's walking around like this.
An old lady.
Yeah, and I don't know if she's old or not. She might even be young. It'd be really sad if she's young and she's sick like this, right? And she's this way because she has a disabling spirit inside her. There's some sort of problem from Satan that's making her life really bad. How many years has she been hurt by this?
18.
18. I'm going to put that in red because this is bad. A
Wow,
spirit of infirmity for 18 years. For 18 years, she's been hurting. And is she just being lazy?
No.
Is she full of sin?
No.
No. I mean, she's a person, so she's probably had some sins, but it's not that she's a sinner and that's why she's hurting. I think it's Satan. All right, let's keep reading. A spirit of infirmity, 18 years, and she was bound together and could no wise lift herself up. And when Jesus saw her, he called her and said to her, Woman, thou art loosed from thine infirmity. And he laid his hands upon her, and immediately she was made straight and glorified God. And so here's Jesus, and he's happy to see her, and he's going to put his hand on her. I don't know if it was on her head or whatever. And now, how is she like?
He's standing.
She's standing, and she's glorifying God. What do you think it means that she's glorifying God?
Praising God.
Praising God, right? I'm going to have her even like little dancing a little bit. And she's so excited that her hair is going all over the place, right? When you girls who have long hair, when you jump, does your hair stay still or does it go all over the place? Yeah, so her hair is going all over the place. But do you think she feels bad that she's got messy hair? No.
No.
She is happy. And so here is someone, Jesus. Jesus feels sorry for her, and he reaches out and he touches her. Probably put, like a pat on the shoulder or maybe on her head. He laid his hands upon her, and immediately she was made straight and glorified God. Praised God, thanked God, something like that. Now, the ruler of the synagogue, being moved with indignation because Jesus had healed on the Sabbath. What does indignation mean?
Like upset.
Yes. He was angry because Jesus healed on the Sabbath. Now, is the Sabbath day the same as going to church?
No.
Not the same thing, but when they all went to synagogue on the Sabbath, it's pretty similar to church, right? It's not the same thing, but we can compare it. And so I like to look at the story and think about it that way, okay? Let's just pretend it was church. The ruler of the synagogue being moved with indignation because Jesus had healed at church, we're going to pretend just for a moment, answered and said to the multitude, everyone else at church, there are 6 days in which men ought to work. In them, therefore, come and be healed, not on the day of the Sabbath, not at church. What do you think about that attitude?
Not very good.
He needs to sort out his priorities.
Sort out his priorities. You got that right.
I'm not going with
Now, is there an Old Testament law about no work on the Sabbath day?
Yes.
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 Oh,
But do you think Jesus healing somebody is work?
No.
And
Putting your hands on somebody.
yeah, and what about the lady? Was she working?
No.
It seems like he's trying. Do you think he cares about the law or cares about Jesus?
He cares about the.
and not very much about the
He
woman.
probably cares about power because Jesus was probably like taking his power almost in his view.
Maybe so. Yeah. Maybe he's like, I want them to come talk to me to get cool stuff. But can he heal them?
No.
No.
So this man is frustrated and angry. And he says, come on the other days. Come on the other days. Don't do it on church day. Don't do it on Sabbath day. So here's my question. What do you think Jesus feels?
Annoyed at this guy.
Annoyed at this guy? That's a good guess. What else?
He doesn't care about that guy.
Didn't care about him? Is it kind of weird to think, but Jesus is so good. Does Jesus get annoyed at people?
Not really.
Let's see what happens.
Oh.
It's kind of a weird thing to think about. Let's look at this. But the Lord answered him and said, you hypocrites, does not each one of you on the Sabbath loose his ox or his ass, or that's the old word for donkey, from the stall and lead him away to watering? Do they do work on the Sabbath?
Yes.
And is taking your donkey to the stall really work, or is it just what you have to do to take care of your animals?
It's just what
Not
your animal.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I don't think Jesus is saying you're doing work. It's more like he's saying, don't you take care of donkeys? Then let's see how he continues. You hypocrites, does not each one of you on the Sabbath loose his ox or his ass from the stall and lead him away to watering? And ought not this woman, being a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan has bound, lo, these 18 years, to have been loosed from this bond on the day of the Sabbath? And as he said these things, his adversaries were put to shame. Okay. So this is what the Pharisees do. Do the Pharisees take their donkeys Do they give them a pail of water on a Sabbath
No.
day? They do.
Oh.
They take care of donkeys, right? So if it's okay to take care of your ox or your donkey, now look at what he says about this lady. A woman. Already, what's more important? A woman, a human person, or an ox?
A woman.
A human
It's already
person.
more important,
Person.
right? If you have to save somebody in your family or save a cat, and everybody likes cats, but who's more important?
A human.
Family.
A human.
The family, the human. Let's see. Dobbs family. I see a hand up. The button.
What does low mean?
Okay. Let's see.
Like lo and behold.
Yeah, it's like lo and behold. It says, whom Satan has bound, lo, these 18 years. It's like lo and behold, oh, these 18 years. Oh my, these 18 years. Behold, these 18 years. It's a way of emphasizing it. That's a good catch. We'll get to that in a second. All right, so it's a woman. Not only is it a person, but it's a daughter of Abraham. What's a daughter of Abraham?
An Israelite.
An Israelite.
Abraham.
Yes. Not only is it a human, which is better than a donkey, it's an Israelite, which means that's a Pharisee's close friend and relative because they're Israelites together. Daughter of Abraham, whom Satan has bound. Who gave her this problem?
Satan.
Satan. What's more important, helping an ox or helping somebody that Satan tied up?
Helping somebody.
Somebody.
Yes. And how long has she been hurt?
18 years.
How long is a donkey thirsty on a Saturday?
A few
Saturday.
hours.
One day. How long has this lady been hurting?
18
18 years. All right. And so what did he do? He loosed from this bond on the Sabbath day. Do you know what he says? He says this lady was let loose on the Sabbath day. And you know what? That's a good thing, Jesus says. He says the Sabbath day is the perfect day for that. Okay, let's think about that. Why is the Sabbath day the perfect day to release somebody from Satan's problem that they were given?
It's the day of rest.
It's the day of rest and the day when, well, they would, I guess, not have fun, but do the good,
Yeah.
righteous things.
Stop working.
So it's almost like a blessing that comes on the day where they would be honoring God.
Yeah. If Saturday, if the Sabbath day is the day that you rest, that's the perfect day to have Satan's problems removed. And what did this Pharisee say? Nope, I don't want that sort of change. Do you see how ugly that Pharisee was?
It's
Yeah.
God.
He was pretty selfish, I think. I think he's just being pretty selfish. Well, as Jesus said these things, his adversaries were put to shame, and all the multitude rejoiced for all the glorious things that were done by him. And so Jesus says, Saturday was the perfect day for her to be released. And I think this is kind of interesting. We just talked about a parable. Who is responsible for this tree being bad? When the tree didn't do anything on this year and on this year and on this year, whose fault was that in the parable?
The trees.
Yeah, yes. The tree said nope. The tree said nope. The tree said nope. Okay, so it's the tree's responsibility, okay? But what is this guy gonna do?
He's gonna help it to.
Just to do better, right?
He's gonna try and help it make the right choice.
Yeah. So even though, does this tree deserve that kind of help?
No.
Oh,
But is he gonna get that kind of help?
yes.
Yes.
This guy reminds me of Jesus. He reminds me of Jesus. Even though I'm a dumb tree and I've been doing my dumb things year after year, Jesus is still going to try to help me out. What do I need to do?
Repent.
And be
I need to repent.
Exactly.
What about the lady who was tied up with the disease and was bent over? Was that her fault? Is she like the tree?
No.
No, I don't think that was her fault. What does Jesus do for her? Is he going to help her too?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that that's really special to think about. When I am a knucklehead and for 3 years do a dumb thing, Jesus is willing to help me out. But there are some people who have 3 years that are bad because they've been sick for 3 years. Is it their fault that they're sick for 3 years?
No.
Who's willing to help?
Jesus.
Jesus.
Jesus is willing to help. I really like that. I really like that kind of comfort and hope that if I make mistakes, Jesus is willing to help me out. Or if I'm sick and having a hard time, Jesus is still willing to help me out. All right, well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to close up class with that, and we will try to pick up with this lesson next time in verse 18. This was a really good class. I think I've had fun with you. I need to figure out what button I'm going to, there it is. So I'm going to wave goodbye, and I will do more with you guys next time. See you later.
Bye.